Hello friends, Tanya here with day 3 of the Spellbinders 2025 12 Days of Stitchmas. Let's look at door number 3 and see what we have inside. It's kind of fun to be opening a box every day. Looks like we have a tree with some words and a lacy trim and a star, except I'm sorry to report I didn't find the star in my package. I probably dropped it on the floor. God knows. I can sometimes be a bit of a klutz. So let's cut all of this out and do the stitching. I chose to die cut mine from some white cardstock that had been spritzed with some Distress mica stain sprays. I honestly don't know what colors these were. These were in my rainbow of paper scraps. And I have some green diamond metallic thread. Yes, I use the diamond thread throughout this series because I really enjoyed playing with it. It doesn't twist and tangle near as much as the metallic thread that I was using before, and it's super easy to use. Has a lot of impact. I am doing this crisscross design that you can see that's embossed into the cardstock here, and this is a drop-in die for that triangular tree. You can use that detail or leave it plain. I think this would really be cute in rainbows of trees, of course, because I love me a good rainbow. But I went pretty traditional with these, and I wanted the opportunity to use this green diamond metallic thread. I'm using some Best Ever craft tape to tape the ends of the thread, and then I just trim off the extra. Now, since I didn't have the star, I can't attach that. Yours will be in your kit. Again, I think I probably just dropped mine. I am adhering the glitter cardstock from the gold assorted treasured cardstock pack that I die cut for the frilly banner on the bottom, the little lacy edge. And then I had cut the word banners from those are not drop-ins. That's what the die cuts out. Those I cut out of the matte metallic gold cardstock. You can see that there's a little piece on this die that snugs right up against, there's like a little notch. It snugs up against one side of the tree, and the other part of the sentiment snugs up against the other side of the tree. This gives the appearance that it's wrapping all the way around the tree like a garland. I made a couple more out of a darker green and the shiny metallic for the lacy part. Now I'm going to take some green ink pads here. I've got the Altenew Limeade and Reindeer Moss. And I'm going to ink blend those on a piece of 5x7 Hammermill cardstock. I'm just using this larger blending brush to apply this ink on a little faster than my smaller blending brushes. And I will move to the darker green, which is the Reindeer Moss. Now I'm finding that this is not blending as evenly or smoothly as I would like. And I just keep trying to blend that a little more. I usually blend with the Distress Oxides, which are buttery smooth since they are in a hybrid ink. They're a mixture of pigment and dye, but I just got a whole bunch of new ink pads because this girl's been saving up, and I got me all of the Altenew ink pads. Took me a while, but I saved up enough money to purchase them. I could never decide which ones I wanted first. Anyway, so I'm using these dye inks, and I'm finding right this second on this particular image that I like the blending sponges better. Next, we're going to use the Merry, Merry, Merry Bird from the Dina Wakley collection to do some glimmering. These are Better Press and Glimmer Foil. And I'm using the trick where I put a piece of copy paper down that is the same size as the paper I'm glimmering on, and then lay the press plates or the glimmer plates down on that copy paper. And then I can just lay the cardstock on top of the pattern, all of the things, and line it up with the typing paper underneath or the copy paper. Now I'm excuse me, I have a 5x7 piece of this white foil, and I am trimming off the portions that we already used so I can cover the plates that I've shifted to cover the rest of the cardstock. And we'll run that through the Better Press system, or sorry, the die cutting machine one more time. Now, being that this is 5x7, it is just a little bit bigger than the silicone area on the Glimmer platform, but it still works. Here we have our completed panel, and you can see those snowy drops all around. Now you're not going to see the center of that, so it doesn't matter that those aren't foiled. We're going to take one of the 5x7 Matting Basics Set B. I was going to use the largest one, but I decided I wanted a larger white frame around this on the finished card. So I grabbed the next size down, and then we're going to take some, I thought this was clean clear water. It looks a little sus there. But that's okay. It's fine. I just wanted to see how water reactive that was going to be. Next, I'm going to take the Spellbinders Yasutomo watercolor mixing set here, and I'm going to use the gold and the pearl color. Just going to work up a little bit of this watercolor paint and spatter that on a background. We're going to have lots of spatters on this background. I think that really adds to the snowy texture. I'll set that aside and let this dry. And next we're going to use one of the pointed arches from the Infinity Dies sets from Hero Arts. I just got these. I did mention in a previous video that I recently got a bunch of them. We're also going to use the Stars and Fronds frame from the same Dina Wakley collection. And it is a really pretty 3D embossed background. We're also going to use Pearl Luster Gilding Polish on the white. I'm trying to decide which color background I like better. And I did want there to be some extra shimmer and shine on this texture, which is why we're using the Pearl Luster Gilding Polish on the white. And then we're going to use the Simon Hurley Lunar Paste. No, so sorry. This is the Solar Paste in Golden Hour, which is a nice subtle gold color. And I'm just going to use my fingertip to apply that to mostly the raised area. This does get on the more depressed parts of the cardstock on this quite a bit. That's okay. It's very subtle, and I just really wanted the texture to pop. Again, don't have to worry about the center of this piece because it's going to be covered by the tree. Both of those turned out very nice, and I'm just going to audition those on the background, and I think both would work. But I decided to go with the white. Next, we're pulling the gifting bow that came out, I think, in July with the Christmas card kit of the month. It was an add-on that you could get, and it has some really beautiful elements. Now, I had these already pre-made, and it's really nice to be able to pull out of your stash things that you've already created in other crafting sessions that didn't get used up. So we're going to use that big, gorgeous gold bow that's cut from the gold assortment of the treasured cardstock, and some flowers and pine boughs. I've centered that pointed arch on the card front, and this is a 5x7 card. I did add extra cardstock behind each of these layers, and then we're going to take this flower in place of the star since I lost my star die. And then we're going to add this beautiful flowing ribbon at the top of that pointed arch. I'm going to use a couple of acrylic blocks to hold that down until it dries nicely. And then on the bottom portion of the card, I'm going to add some pine boughs and this really pretty pink poinsettia. I realized as I was assembling in this that the pine boughs on this one, the pine needles, didn't completely separate, and it is not a perfect pine bough. So I decided to change colors. I had some pre-cut out pine boughs, And since I want these to match, I'm going to switch this other one out with the coordinating color. And since it's all in the greens and greens that go well together, no big deal. I just switched those out. I could have cut out more, but I wanted to use what I already had in my stash. Now that I've finished the front of the card, let's add some stuff to the inside. I pulled a couple of flowers and a branch of leaves from that same die set that were assembled, and then we're going to take a sentiment from the Tremendous Christmas House Mouse stamp set. It was just laying on my desk waiting to be used, and I really thought this sentiment was perfect to go with this tree. It says, have a tremendous Christmas. So I just was really brave, took that red rubber stamp and put it on one of my clear stamping blocks and hand stamped that without my mini Misty or my stamp wheel. Can you believe it? Next, we're going to adhere the branch of leaves and the 2 flowers to the inside of the card. I'll just let those adhere really well, and that completes the card for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this video. I had fun putting it together. It's nice to have a bunch of pre-assembled things to add to your cards, and the stitching stuff just adds such a touch of class. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't done that yet. Leave me a comment. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Check the description box below for the products that I used today. There will be a link to the complete list. And until tomorrow, here are a couple more videos I thought you might enjoy. Bye-bye.